Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi Imo, and on this channel I talk about how to build your cake business. I share tips on entrepreneurship, I do vlogs and story time as well, and I also talk about personal development. And you're almost welcome. For our new subscribers, or you're just stopping here for the first time, you're most welcome. And for those that have been here, our old subscribers, thank you so much for your support as we head on towards 700. I am so excited and I can't appreciate you enough for your support towards this channel. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the stories behind some of my cakes. I know it's kind of an unusual video, but I thought to do it so that you know how I got these orders, learn from them. It will help you with your cake business, on how you can get orders, and also share some lessons behind these cakes through my stories. And I hope and believe that they'll be useful to help you in your cake journey. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So this is the first cake, and it's a cake that I made during the lockdown last year. I was working from home, like everybody was at home then, during the lockdown. And I was very uncomfortable and unsure of myself taking this cake order because it was just me working from home. Yes, I'd gotten an assistant, but due to the lockdown and being just me alone and my husband, I was just open to taking buttercream cakes because they were pretty much easy to make and less time consuming. So I focused on doing buttercream cakes alone. And being that I just upgraded my prices, my recipes and my prices during the lockdown, I wasn't very sure if he was going to accept it, but I told him anyway. I gave him the price, and to my utmost surprise, he said, okay, this was his budget. And I was surprised that that was his budget anyway, because you know how we shortchange ourselves and say, oh, it's too high. People will say they cannot pay and all that. People will run away. They will ask me why it's so expensive. So we were able to come to a conclusion though, and I made the cakes, all of these things at home. I got the picture printed, I got the wire done, the charger and everything. I made them, gave them sufficient time to dry, and did the cake from the house. I worked on it and made it the way you see. My husband assisted me as well with the baking, and that was how I was able to get this cake done and sent to the clients. And the dad loved it. Did I remember to mention that it was the dad that ordered this cake for the daughter? So she loved it. I think my husband said he heard her scream when they took the cake into the house, something along those lines. And the dad was very pleased. He told me that he loved the cake. So that's the story behind the cake. Don't be afraid to charge for what your cakes are worth. And also don't let anything stand in your way as a limitation, be it fear or anything, because I was so unsure of making this cake. It's been a while. I made a fondant cake before I made this one due to the lockdown. So I wasn't even sure of my fondant decorating skills anymore. But I took it and I am glad that it came out so beautiful, neat, super fine. And it is one of the cake that has received so much love from my audience online. So we're going straight ahead right into the next cake and the story behind the cake. For this, I have a huge smile on my face now because I can remember the feedback clearly that the clients put up on Instagram. She did a what I ordered versus what I got picture, and she gave me feedback. They were very excited. Someone booked on behalf of her sister, I think, and when I got to the venue, they weren't there, so I just did the setup. I have a video on the setup of this cake. If you check through my videos, you're going to see them on my playlist as well. So I set up this cake, called them that I set up the cake, and then I left the venue. And after the wedding in the evening, I got a lot of beautiful feedback. Thank you, prayers, God bless you. And I was really happy. I was happy because my hard work was recognized. Nobody sent me, like we say here in Nigeria, nobody sent me message. But I just felt that I needed to do this to help my portfolio. But first of all, the sample they sent to me was something that I knew that I couldn't replicate. I had my reasons why I couldn't replicate it. I don't replicate designs. I really don't like it. It's kind of stifles my creativity. and also it was below what I could make for my skill level. So I said, nah, I'm not gonna do this. I told myself, I didn't tell the client anyway, but I just kept telling her to trust me, to just leave it to me, and to leave, the price. You should not drag and all that. I was gonna give her something nice, and I put so much effort into it. At the end of the day, they were blown away. They were grateful, and then the bride later came, yes, to do that what I ordered versus what I got feedback on her page, and I was so excited about that. Not that we were trying to put the other person down, but she recognized the fact that I went, and when I mean I went over and beyond for them. Like I said, I wanted to do this to help my portfolio as well, and to show the world that I could actually make trad wedding cakes. I could actually make traditional wedding cakes. So always put your best foot forward and be wise in making decisions. Now, this is another cake that I love, and this one is such a long story, but let me just get started. So I got this order from someone who is Iniedo's friend. I think they're close friends. How did I meet this person? 2 years ago. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that must be 2019. I saw an ad on Instagram for a program organized by Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, Africa's Richest Woman 2019 and 2020. So I applied for that program. It was a free program, but you needed to apply. So I applied for the program, and I was among the 50 that were selected. Yeah, 50 or 100. I think I was among the 50. They said they needed 50 people, 50 women or 50 ladies, and I was among those that were selected for that program. It held somewhere in Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria, at a hotel. I can't remember the name now. Either Ikoyi or VI. So I went for that program, and it was really insightful. The sessions were mind blowing, and I really learned a lot. So from that program, I got to know this person. How did it happen? She came in when the program had already started, like hours later, and the seat that was left was just beside me, the only seat that was left. And so she came and sat behind me, and I remember either greeting her under my breath or nodding because there was a session going on, but I acknowledged her presence, and that was how the session went on. And while the session was going on, I don't know what took my eye to her jotter. We were already talking, exchanging ideas, while the session was going on, exchanging ideas and talking. And I can't remember if she mentioned to me now, but I think she was talking about work, and then she was on some calls or something. But I noticed that in her jotter, she had names of some Nigerian celebrities, Nigerian actors. I can remember seeing Ramsey Noah, and I just saw some people. Like, she was trying to get work done. She was working because she needed to, I think, just meet up with deadlines or something. I can't remember. And I was wondering that what are these names doing on this book? I was just wondering. Well, to cut the long story short, we ended up going home together, and I remember giving her my phone then to book a ride. Her husband was supposed to come pick her, if I'm not mistaken, but he wasn't able to meet up, so she asked for my phone, and her battery was down, something along those lines. So we wanted to book for a ride home, and using the Bolt app on my phone. I remember how embarrassing it was for me because my phone had issues then. So my phone used to freeze then, the screen would freeze. I told her my phone is not too good anyways, but I handed it over to her, and she booked a ride, and that was how we got home. I dropped her off at her place, her office, and then I went back. But after then, I kept in touch. Okay, and I was engaging, liking her pictures on social media. We exchanged handles, and that was how I kept in touch until the call came on this particular day for me to make a birthday cake for Iniedo. I was excited. I was really, really, really happy, and that was how this order came to be. So look out for such programs like this. I know that because of the way things are presently, there are no large gatherings, but look out for these programs. and make useful and worthwhile connections. This cake and the next one after this are cakes that I made for one of my most trusted clients who needed a wedding cake. Not a wedding cake, two wedding cakes actually for this wedding. It was his wedding and he needed two wedding cakes. And it came with no brief whatsoever. No brief. The order just came like this: I want two wedding cakes. So I was the one that kept asking. I had to go back to ask and get to know exactly what he wanted. I had to find out the number of tiers. I had to find out the colors. I wasn't too sure because it was my first time ever hearing about two wedding cakes for a wedding. So I needed to know, was it for trad and then the white wedding, or was it going to be for quartz and white wedding? I wasn't too sure. So I had to go back, make my findings, and I didn't just take decision into my own hands. So please don't always assume. Ensure that you get details from the client to know exactly what they want. So with the little details that I had, I sort of drew up what I wanted in my mind. It wasn't too clear and it was difficult making a choice despite the Pinterest and Google checks trying to get inspiration. But there were three things I can remember I had in mind for these cakes. I wanted them to be stunning, different, beautiful. I wanted them to be floral cakes, and then I wanted them to be tall cakes. So these cakes you're seeing are really tall. Now with that in mind, I went to my florist vendor and told her what I wanted to do, and then she sent me these pictures of flowers and fillers, flower fillers as well. And it was from there I was able to make a choice of what I want. I was spoiled for choices. Man, I love flowers. So she sent and I made my choices. And with that, I went ahead to make these designs. For this, I used the airbrush effect and I also did some texturing. Thank God it was a seamless and easy one. I mean, these cakes were so seamless, like no issues whatsoever. I'd already covered them when I decided, okay, I want to texture. So I went ahead with the texturing. I had this design just as I was working. It was not like I had them in mind when I started doing the work. It was a palette effect, yes, and with an airbrushing effect as well. So I've had this airbrush that was gifted to me by my mentees from my annual mentorship program, which I hold every April. So they gifted it to me and I've never used it before now, but I just thought to bring it out and then to try it, and it came out really beautiful as you can see on the cake. I love the effect so much. For the other one, I also did a bit of texturing with my fondants. I did stenciling as well, and I am so glad that it all came out beautiful. The way I envisaged, the way I dreamt of it even came out more beautiful, and I'm glad that my client was pleased and happy at the end of the day. These cakes are no ordinary cakes, like they are beautiful. If you see them in person, you'll know that these cakes are really beautiful. So that's the story behind the cake. And the final cake is this cake you would see now, which is an architect themed cake. So this was one that gave me huge concern as well because the client booked 2 months ahead. That was in September against November. And if you can all remember the sad thing that happened in Nigeria, the NSAS protest. And so with everything that was happening, everywhere was in chaos and utter disarray. Lives had been lost, properties burnt. I didn't know what the future would hold. We didn't know when movement will resume and everything with the curfew that was put in place by the government. So we all just had to watch and wait to see things unfold. And thankfully, although it was a very, very sad one, movement started again, the curfew was lifted, and then people went about with their lives. So I had to do this cake. It was for November. And doing this cake wasn't as easy as I thought because wrapping the print around the cake was a huge challenge. It wasn't just sticking, it was a huge challenge. But somehow I was able to find my way around it, thank God. And I love how it turned out so beautiful in the end. The road, I've forgotten what they call this print now. If I can remember, I'll put the name. The tape measure, I think tape measure they call it. Everything came out so nice and my client was pleased. at the end of the day. The lessons will be always charge what your cakes are worth and then put your best foot forward. And when you run into challenges in the baking process, don't just stay and complain and worry endlessly. Pick up yourself, look for a way out, look for a way to sort those challenges and to move ahead. Now, I'd love to share the stories behind these other cakes, but I don't want this video to be too long. So let me know if you'd like to hear the stories behind these other cakes. And please let me know which story you found most interesting. Just let me know the comments, the cake picture in the comments below, and what you learned from it. Please, if you're yet to subscribe, don't forget to do so. Click on the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and please give this video a thumbs up and share with your cake friends. Let's get the word out. Let's educate ourselves. Let's grow and learn together. Until I see you in the next video, please stay blessed, stay happy, and stay safe. Thank you.